That's right!
Welcome to The Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm John Reisinger.
We've got more details about Far Cry 5 thanks to a trailer drop and a couple other details. And while some people had speculated that everyday middle Americans would be cast as the game's enemy, it turns out that's not the case, or at least if you do see yourself in these bad guys, you should probably talk to somebody.
We all need to talk to somebody. We got a closer look at the game today after Ubisoft released a proper trailer, held a press event, and then posted a ton more details on its site. And Far Cry 5's plot definitely touches on some real-world themes of religious cults, rural life, and armed extremists. It's pretty uncharted territory for a video game and is sure to be discussed a lot by the mainstream media.
Oh, and we got a release date too. The game will release February 27th next year for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, so nope, no Far Cry this year. We all thought it was coming like September-ish. It's not.
Oh well. But first, let's dig into the trailer. As we suspected from the game's art, the plot will revolve around a religious cult that has taken over a town in Montana and is preparing for the end of the world. They're apparently really into forced baptisms and writing the word thinner on people, and the cult is opposed by a resistance force led by you, the player.
So here's how Ubisoft describes it. Welcome to Hope County, Montana. When your arrival incites the cult to violently seize control of the region, you must rise up and spark the fires of resistance to liberate a besieged community.
Yeah, help those fellow thinners.
Well, there was a lot of like questions early on. So, well, say early on, it's like yesterday, maybe the day before.
Yeah,
so that
the long ago.
Yeah, the before time. Because they released the art and everyone started wondering, okay, so you're taking on a bunch of like super crazy religious cultist types, and they were wondering if it means that you come from the community or if you are a newcomer, an outsider. Well, this answers that question. You're an outsider.
While the plot is a big change from previous Far Cries, the game appears to stick to its tried and true genre of an open world first-person shooter, which makes sense because it's being developed by Ubisoft Montreal, which made Far Cry 4 and Far Cry 3. Ubisoft says the game can be played solo or in two-player co-op mode.
It's also, I mean, it's a departure in setting, but the overall, like, dude comes in from somewhere else and, like, completely like changes up and goes against whatever regime happens to be in place in that location. So in that sense, pretty familiar to Far Cry, but being set in the US, that's definitely new. And now Ubisoft says that players can freely explore Hope County's rivers, lands, and skies with the largest customizable weapon and vehicle roster ever in a Far Cry game, which is saying something. You're the hero of the story in a thrilling world that hits back with every punch, and where the places you discover and the locals you ally with will shape your story in ways you'll never see coming.
Never see it coming. Ubisoft also showed off 3 of the game's good guy characters, although we don't know if they'll be NPCs or helpers that you can summon to fight.
One of the good guys is a Catholic priest and the Gulf War vet who lost his church members to the cult. He was beaten and left for dead in the woods, but he survived and vowed to protect the cult's victims.
Another is a town resident who lost her family's bar after the bank foreclosed on it and the cult took it over. Now she is swearing revenge. Another is a crop duster pilot who comes from a military background.
You're getting a plane! Ubisoft released short videos for each of these characters, with each person giving a brief monologue about their past, and then at the end of each video, characters pick up weapons, seemingly to prepare for battle.
Yeah. As for the cult, they're described as a fanatical Doomsday cult led by Joseph Seed.
That's a very...
It's a good last name.
It's a very cultish sort of name, I like it.
Good last name. That's threatening the community. The cult apparently preys on hopeless folks who have fallen into economical and psychological despair. There's just not a lot of people like that around here, who are seeking salvation through the group. The cult apparently believes something called the collapse is imminent and only their leader, who is known as the Father, can save them.
Whether they want to be saved or not.
Yeah.
Producer Dan Hay at a press event in New York said that the extremists in the game are quite different from normal churchgoers. The violence and the guns and all the like crazy doomsdayness were probably the first indicator of that. According to Kotaku, he said, in terms of religion, I think what the cult is when you think about things and groups that are out there in the world today, a lot of times you're seeing somebody who has hijacked religion.
As for the gameplay, you'll be exploring rural Montana and a wide variety of landscapes, including rivers and mountain ranges.
With bears.
Bars. And it looks like there will be a lot of ways to get around. The game will offer iconic American vehicles, from muscle cars to big rigs, from ATVs to tractors.
And planes.
Yep, go and get a plane.
As for your character, it's apparently pretty customizable. Kotaku reports that you can choose your gender as well as skin color. Your character is apparently a deputy on the police force, but it's not clear how you came to town. As we said, you end up building up a resistance force to fight the cult members.
And you also have the ability to recruit helpers of your own, including mercenaries, other resistance fighters, and even animals.
Sick a tiger on him.
You're gonna get, where's the tigers in Montana?
I don't know, maybe you liberated a circus.
Them Montana tigers, they just roam free along the plains. Yes, you'll be able to get a dog to help fight. Maybe
or
not.
A tiger. Okay, probably not a tiger.
Unconfirmed tigers. Was barring a feature from Far Cry Primal that was very popular. They sort of had tigers in that one. They had like saber-toothed ones.
So basically, fangs for hire. It lets you send like a bear or a cougar, or maybe I get tigers in DLC, okay? And then they can go and then they can fight for you.
Yep, they're gonna bring back the American tiger.
They went the way of the buffalo.
Buffalo came back and existed.
Yeah, well, the tigers didn't get so lucky, those American tigers.
They just weren't lucky enough to exist.
Right. Ubisoft also discussed the game's enemy AI, which it says will change based on what you're doing. It says that cult members will boost their efforts when you become less of a nuisance and more of a threat.
It definitely seems like the themes of Far Cry 5 are bound to spark controversy, considering that its bad guys, aka rural gun-owning white people, are usually the heroes in video games. So sad. As TechCrunch put it, Far Cry 5 looks like it could incense and alienate an entire group of gamers, ironically the same that might be irate about having their guns taken away IRL.
That means in real life.
Yep, but also looks interesting as hell, and that's bound to keep the attention of franchise fans, politics aside.
But others praised its direction and noted that Ubisoft has done a pretty good job portraying other groups in the past. As our friend of the know, IGN's Brian Altano, said on Twitter, Ubisoft nailed Bay Area liberal hipster culture last year with Watch Dogs 2. Only fair they go after fanatical gun nuts with Far Cry 5 next. Actually, so we did a story about this yesterday just because different like press sites and such have started before this trailer hit, discussing whether this was controversial, you're going after like Americans as the villains,
no,
liberal propaganda, etc., etc. And the response in our comments was really, it was very measured, very thoughtful. You guys are smart cookies, just discussing that it's not painting an entire religion. This is clearly like, you know, like a splinter cult. It's extremists of any kind, and that's bad. Wandering around Montana, gonna be fun. I was very impressed with the response from you guys. So, thumbs up.
So don't fuck it up in this video.
Right. No, that's about all we know about the game so far. But Ubisoft says they're going to reveal more at the E3 press conference June 12th, even though we do have to wait till February.
What do you guys think about Far Cry 5 so far? Does the game's plot interest you? Let us know in the comments.
Did they miss out on calling it 5 Cry? And for all your Far Cry 5 news, including a full report on their E3 announcement, which we will definitely have, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the know.
Look out for tigers.
Look, the tigers in the American West are... See, here's the thing. No one's ever survived an American tiger attack. And like, so no one can tell about it. You don't, they're there, you just don't know it because no one who's ever seen them has survived.
Yep. This is a news site, right?